All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here. This is going to be an event that I'm really looking forward to. It's our very first MMA event. Golden Boy MMA presents Liddell, Tito Ortiz. And as you know, these guys have a lot of history amongst each other. It really is a pleasure to promote a trilogy. And you know, when you think about trilogies, you think about some of the best fights out there. You know, you take a look at the legends in the sport, whether it's MMA or whether it's boxing. It's all combat sports. So when you think about Tito Ortiz, when you think about Chuck Liddell, you think about pioneers, you think about legends. And I mean, if you were to ask me, you know, who your favorite fighters are in the MMA world, all I think about is Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell. You know, they've been staples for the longest time. They've been fighters who we've gotten to grow up with, fighters who we've gotten to know. I mean, there's fans out there, casual fans out there, who can't name anybody else but Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell. So that's why this event here was so important for us at Golden Boy to make, because of the history, because of the trilogy. I mean, who doesn't like watching a final chapter? You know, a fight that we know is going to be a great fight, because the last two were great. So I'm extremely happy to announce that we will be having 18 fights in total, including five amateur state titles that are on the line. So we've been able to work with Mal Valenzuela, who put this card together from top to bottom, and has done an extremely just a great job in making sure that that the fans are going to be able to witness some great fights. Before we introduce the fighters, we want to acknowledge and have the commission, who obviously makes it all possible. So at this point, I would like to call up to the podium to say a few words from the California State Athletic Commission, Martha Shan, who has just done a phenomenal job with the commission. So Martha, if you can say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. First, to all those who have suffered in this last fire, California fire, our heartfelt prayers and sympathies go out to you, and to all the firefighters and first responders. Thank you for everything that you've done for us, and keep doing for us. You are really an example to all of us of cooperative work, and how we all need to really work together and bind together to make things happen. And in that spirit, this fight is also an example. This card, this fight, this Golden Boy promotion is also an example of what it is to work together, to bring together a promotion that is history in the making. This promotion is history in the making in so many ways. Some of you have written about it already, but there are multiple examples of that. For example, the Contact Sports Foundation, which is a nonprofit, which works together with our commission and other commissions and the Association of Boxing Commissions, is helping the Amateur Regulatory Board, CAMO, which JT Steele is up here, he's the president of, to help the amateur organization start with this promotion, test for performance-enhancing drugs for the first time in the history of amateur MMA fighting. And also, the Contact Sports Foundation is providing dehydration scales, and the California State Athletic Commission is providing training and is going to implement a concussion protocol for the amateur MMA fighters. This will be the very first promotion which will be fully regulated in the history of mixed martial arts. Amateur fighters probably outnumber the professional fighters 3-1. So it makes sense that it should be regulated as well, if not better, so that by the time the amateur fighters go into the professional sport, they're used to the protocols already. And the other history in the making is that Golden Boy is bridging the gap between boxing and MMA so that there is another viable place for the fighters to go and fight and to exercise their craft and their talent. And so with that, I congratulate Golden Boy on their first MMA promotion. And I wish them all the success this Saturday. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Martha. Like I said, we have an excellent undercard, which consists of 18 total fights, and I don't have a good memory to remember every single name, but we have all the fighters here who will be participating in that card on Saturday night, and we are extremely grateful to Mel Valenzuela who put it together. I mean, obviously, without the team, you can't do anything. So, Mel, thank you very much for all your hard work and to make sure that the fans are really going to watch an amazing event. I do want to mention the co-main event, which should be a really exciting co-main event, and I do like to call up to the podium Tom Lawler, who is a light heavyweight. He is a contender in the light heavyweight division, and I'm sure some of you have seen him fight. I've already seen some of his past fights, and let me tell you, there's nothing but explosion written all over him. So, Tom, to say a few words, if you can come up to the podium, Tom.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't have a prepared statement, but I'm prepared to make a statement on a Saturday evening. I'm very happy to be here representing not only myself, but Golden Boy as they make this foray into the mixed martial arts world. Unfortunately, for the past few years, due to my former employer, I was forced to take a sabbatical. But now I am back, and I have a very tough test in front of me. My opponent, Deron Wynn, one of the top amateur wrestlers in the country currently, will be facing one of the top professional wrestlers currently in the country as well, in myself. And as Oscar said, there's always going to be an explosion in my fights. And I see this as being absolutely no different. While I have been kind of out of work in the fight game the past few years, my job on Saturday is to put some other people to work. I'm going to put Duran to work. I'm going to put the doctors to work. And I'm going to make a statement. And at the end of the night, you'll be talking about me. Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, great fighters in their own right. But I'm not here to take a back seat to anybody. I'm here to be in the driver's seat. And on Saturday, that's exactly what's going to happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. So he'll be facing, like Tom said, an incredible wrestler. He's a light heavyweight contender, and that is Deron Wynn. Deron.
What's up, guys? I also don't have a speech prepared. I didn't know I was supposed to do this, but I'm excited. I've only had 4 professional fights, and contrary to a lot of you guys' probably knowledge, amateur wrestling is actually real wrestling. Okay, so I travel the world, and I've wrestled the best wrestlers in the world, and try to make 2 Olympic teams and stuff like that. So what Tom does is fake. So that's why he was so good at talking. It's you know, he has to prepare speeches, fake speeches like this all the time, so he can convince himself that he's going to do something Saturday night. But this is my time, okay? His time's passed. This is my time, and like Tom said, after Saturday night, you're going to be talking about me, Deron Wynn. I know a lot of you guys haven't heard of me yet because I really haven't had the exposure that a lot of these guys have, but I'm ready to shine. And really, in all reality, I respect Tom. I appreciate him for signing the bout sheet because it's really hard for a guy like me to get opponents these days. So, I mean, we went through so many opponents before I could finally finalize something. But I'm excited, man. I'm ready. I train with the best guys in the world. I have some of the best cornermen in the world, some of the best coaches in the world, and I'm prepared. This isn't my first time under the spotlight, okay? So be prepared for everything. Thanks.
Thanks, Deron. So now for the main event, and before I introduce Tito and Chuck, you know, why did I get involved with MMA? You know, when I first heard that that Dana and the UFC for some reason didn't want to get involved, it presented an opportunity, you know, and Dana and the UFC have done an amazing job, with Tito and promoting Chuck. In recent years, but it presented an opportunity for me, an opportunity to show Tito and Chuck the respect that they deserve, you know. Imagine if they would have told George Foreman that he couldn't fight for a world title at the age that he was. What was he, 45, 46? Imagine, and he goes on and wins it by knockout. Imagine if they would have told Bernard Hopkins, oh man, come on, you're 51 years old, you can't fight. And he goes on and is now the oldest boxer as a champion in the history of the sport. You know, nobody can tell you, well, you should retire or you shouldn't fight. The fighter must say it. The fighter must feel it. And that's exactly why we're here today, because both guys feel it. And nobody has the right to say anything. Nobody has the right to say, you know, well, you should just hang them up. So that opportunity presented itself, and here we are today. You know, it's an opportunity that is a great one for the sport, I feel. You know, I started Golden Boy Promotions 17 years ago, promoting ballroom boxing with no TV and 500 fans. And 17 years later, look at what we've done. I intend to stay in this sport to promote the biggest fights possible. And we've started off with a big bang. We've started off with probably the most iconic names in the history of MMA. So it really is a pleasure to be up here. So let me introduce to you, on that note, Team Tito Ortiz. Before Tito comes up to the podium, I would like to introduce to you George L. Barjin to say a few words. George.
First of all, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I want to thank God for this blessed day. I also want to thank Tito, Chuck, and Oscar for allowing me to be a part of this event. There may not be a title on the line like there was the first time or the second time these two fought, but the stakes are still high. Redemption is on the line. And both these guys have been an iconic mountain stone in the sport. You know, there's a lot of critics out there, but for all those critics, you need to take into consideration that both these two guys here built the sport and actually probably carried the sport on their backs for many years. And in line with Thanksgiving, we should give them our thanks, and we should show our appreciation, and we should support this fight on Saturday. You're not going to be disappointed. Tito, I appreciate you, man. I'm proud of you. You do wear your heart on your sleeve. You literally fight for your family, and that's amazing. I love you. I'm proud to call you a business partner. I'm proud to call you a friend, and I'm proud to call you family. And I can't wait for Saturday to celebrate your victory. Thank you.
One of the best stars of the sport, a wrestler who can take you out and pound you out. Ortiz is left in the ring with an exciting win, and he'll use that as leverage against Chuck Liddell. So let me introduce to you, without any further ado, Tito Ortiz.
As George says, this is Thanksgiving week. This is something we could be thankful for, living in this country. A lot of tragic things happened just this last week with the fires, the shootings. So I can't even imagine the things what those families are going through, especially on Thanksgiving. And I'm very thankful for Oscar putting this fight together. Thanks for Chuck accepting the fight. But I'm really thankful, no matter what, for Dave Thomas. He's been a friend of mine for 25 years. Thank you for putting this fight together with Chuck. And another one of my good friends, who actually has been a wrestling partner for a while, Antonio McKee. Guys, we put the fight together. Thanks. Chuck, you just got suckered. I know what he's been doing for the last 2.5 months. I don't know how he hasn't been sparring, the guys he's been wrestling with, everything. So the joke's on you, buddy. Hope you guys enjoy the fight on Saturday.
All right, now for Team Chuck Liddell. Let me call up to the podium Antonio McKee. Antonio.
Well, I like to talk, so I'm going to keep it short. And just want to say thanks to TNT management. And thank you, Oscar, for putting on the event. And thank you, Tito, for all your fine words and your personality. I appreciate that. This is going to be a good one. I've trained a lot of high-level wrestlers in the sport of mixed martial arts, but I got to say, out of everybody I've ever trained, Chuck is really a stand-up guy. And before that, I thought Chuck was racist. I never saw anybody black in his camp in his whole career, but I was very pleased to be part of his training, and we're doing a great job here. I like Chuck. I think he's awesome. He's, like I said, he's one of the best. And it was just a real pleasure to work with him. I hadn't seen a lot of guys. I've trained, like I said, a lot of fighters. But the first week I was really worried. You know, I just didn't think, I thought Chuck was done, you know. After I saw him train a week, then 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, I was impressed, and I told Dave Thomas, TNT management, I said, look, I think we are going to beat, Tito up, and at the end of the camp, our fake videos, whatever we put up that people saw was entertaining, that was great. But at the end of the camp, this man is amazing at 48 years old. There's just no way you lose to be able to compete in my gym at that age, at the level and the way we train. So I was really impressed with that. So I think it's going to be a great fight Saturday night. I think, Chuck's going to knock Tito out again, and we're going to go out and have a good time. And thank you again for everything, Tito.
All right, with that said, the legend they call the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Chuck.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you to my team. Thanks for setting me up for Tito. Tito, hey, man, you think I'm worried about you? You think that works? You think you play mind games with me? 100%. You will be. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. So come on. Make sure you watch this fight. Don't leave. It's going to end quick. I'm putting this guy out. I'm putting this guy to sleep. Oh, I know. Yeah, I hear that all the time. I never knocked you out, right? Yeah. First one you knocked out. Yeah. Second one you quit, right?
No, the second one is you get Dana in your back pocket.
Oh yeah, you quit in the second one.
Defend yourself, all punches, huh? Arms up until you defend yourself, all punches.
He said, "Move or I'm going to stop it. Move or I'm going to stop it." You looked at him like a deer in headlights.
Oh come on, dude. That was Maserati, your fucking partner. Are you joking me? Come on. We'll see you. You've been knocked out before. Just wait. You'll get knocked out again.
Yeah, good. Come after it.
I'm gonna come after it. Taking your ass down and pounding you out.
Good luck.
Right. We will be the last Mohicans, dude. Don't worry about it. It looks a little crooked too, so you need to slide that right side a little better.
All right. Man, we have a fight. Let me tell you. We have a fight. Do we have to face him off? Jesus. Let's go for the face-off. Thanks, guys, for the press conference. Thank you for being here. We'll see you Saturday night, and we're going to face off the fighters now face-to-face for the picture op. Thank you, guys.
I feel good.
You just tell me.